What do women really want when it comes to size? You can't scroll far on social media or sit through a casual dinner conversation without hearing someone make a joke about it. Some men brag, some women roll their eyes. Some people whisper about ideal measurements like it's the holy grail of intimacy. But let me ask you something. Is any of that true? I'm Dr. Victoria Adams. I'm a board-certified specialist in sexual health and women's wellness. And for the past 12 years, I've been working with men, women, and couples who carry this exact worry. And today, I'm going to give you the truth. Not locker room myths, not what you hear in movies, but real science on what women actually prefer. And I'll tell you this up front, the findings will probably surprise you. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Tap that like button and in the comments, tell me, where are you watching from today? I love seeing the community we're building here, and it helps more people find the information they desperately need, but are often too embarrassed to ask about. All right, let's get into it. Here's the myth. Bigger is always better. That single phrase has haunted men for decades. It's fueled industries, insecurities, even relationships falling apart. But here's the truth. Science tells a very different story. When researchers actually studied women's private preferences, not what they said in a survey when they felt pressure to give a socially correct answer, but what they chose when no one was watching. The results pointed overwhelmingly in one direction. Most women prefer average. Yes, average. Not enormous, not extreme, average. That's not my opinion. That's what the data shows across multiple clever studies. And this is where things get fascinating. And because those studies didn't just look at what women say, they looked at what women actually choose when given the freedom to do so. Let me walk you through this like I would if you were sitting in my office worried about this topic. I've been practicing in the field of sexual health for over a decade, and I've had hundreds of men, young, middle-aged, and especially men over 50, ask me the same anxious question. Am I enough? I always tell them, let's look at the facts, not the fears. And the facts come from research studies that analyzed millions of dollars worth of purchases, best-selling products, and women's anonymous choices. These studies remove the bravado, the pressure, the performing for the crowd answers, and they give us insight into reality. And reality is so much more reassuring than the myths. Let's break this down into 5 powerful truths, each one dismantling a common mistake men make when thinking about size. 1. Mistake 1. Believing women want extremes. Most men assume women dream about 10, 11, or 12 inches. But when researchers looked at best-selling intimate products across 8 major distributors, do you know what they found? The most popular lengths ranged from 4 to 6 inches. Let me repeat that. 4 to 6 inches. That's not extreme, that's average. And when they looked at the girth, the circumference, it was also in the normal range, usually less than 5 inches. Think about what that means. When women make completely private choices without judgment, the majority lean toward average sizes. Biology. Why? Because a woman's vaginal canal isn't designed to accommodate extremes comfortably. The average depth is about 3 to 6 inches when relaxed, and it only expands modestly with arousal. Going way beyond that isn't pleasurable, it's painful. As a woman and as a clinician, I can tell you this is something many women wish men understood more deeply. Emotion. Comfort creates trust. If a woman feels safe physically, she can surrender emotionally. If she feels pain or pressure, her guard goes up. This is fundamental to how female arousal and connection actually work. Practicality. This means if you fall in the normal range, which 90% of men do, you are more than capable of giving her what she needs. 2. Mistake 2. Thinking length matters more than fit. Another study analyzed best-selling realistic intimate products on Amazon and top US retailers. The average length was about 6.5 inches, slightly above average but not by much. But here's the interesting part. Researchers found that circumference and comfort mattered more than length. Biology. Too much girth can actually create tearing or discomfort. Women's bodies are sensitive, and their arousal relies on relaxation of the pelvic floor, not force. I see this clinically all the time. Women who experience pain during intimacy often trace it back to a partner who didn't understand that more is not better. Emotion. When the fit is comfortable, she's more present. She's not worried about pain. She's not distracted. That means she can focus on the connection with you. And that connection, gentlemen, is what women truly crave. Practicality. What does this mean for you? It means focusing on rhythm, communication, and reading her signals matters 10 times more than worrying about inches. Women notice attentiveness far more than measurements. 3. Mistake 3. Comparing yourself to media fantasies. The adult industry thrives on exaggeration, giant sizes, unrealistic expectations, none of which reflect daily reality. Yet men compare themselves to that fantasy. And this comparison damages not only self-esteem, but also intimate relationships. Biology. The truth. Most men fall between 5 to 6 inches in length when erect, and 4.5 to 5 inches in girth. That's the scientifically established average. And that average is exactly what fits comfortably within female anatomy. Emotion. When you believe you're not enough, it chips away at your confidence. And confidence, not inches, is the #1 driver of satisfaction for both partners. I cannot stress this enough. Women feel your energy. They sense your presence. If you're distracted by insecurity, she feels that distance. Practicality. Stop measuring yourself against an industry designed to manipulate your insecurities. Real women want connection, not camera angles. They want to feel desired and cherished, not impressed by dimensions. 4. Mistake 4. Ignoring women's real feedback. Here's something revealing. In surveys, women will sometimes give exaggerated answers because they think it's expected. Social pressure influences responses. But when researchers analyze behavior, the story changes completely. Women overwhelmingly chose products that were average in length, comfortable in girth, and affordable. Biology. This shows us women aren't chasing extremes. Their bodies respond best to what feels safe and pleasurable, not painful. The female body is designed for pleasure when treated with care and understanding, not when overwhelmed. Emotion. Think about it. If she's choosing something for herself, something private, personal, and intimate, and she consistently chooses average, doesn't that tell you something profound? It tells you that women, when free from social expectation, choose comfort and connection over size every single time. Practicality. If you're already average, you're already what most women are privately choosing. Let that sink in. You already have what she wants. 5. Mistake 5. Forgetting what really creates satisfaction. Here's the biggest mistake of all. Believing size equals satisfaction. It doesn't. And as a woman who has spent her career studying intimacy and relationships, I can tell you this with absolute certainty. Biology. Women's pleasure is far more influenced by clitoral stimulation, emotional bonding, and relaxation than by size. The clitoris contains over 8,000 nerve endings, most of which are external. Penetration alone rarely creates the kind of pleasure women actually seek. Understanding female anatomy transforms intimacy. Emotion. What makes a woman feel truly connected isn't measurement. It's whether she feels seen, desired, and respected. It's whether you take time to understand her body, her rhythms, her needs. It's whether you show up fully present, not performing, but connecting. Practicality. That means your focus should shift away from obsessing about inches and toward building communication, presence, and patience. These are skills, and like any skill, they can be developed at any age. So, what can you do with this information? Here are 3 practical steps Dr. Victoria Adams recommends. Stop comparing. Understand that the vast majority of men are average, and that's exactly what most women want. The comparison trap steals your joy and your confidence. Release it. Focus on confidence. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's comfort in your own skin. Women sense that instantly. When you walk into a room, into a conversation, into intimacy believing you are enough, she feels that, and it draws her closer. Build connection. Learn to read her signals, communicate openly, and prioritize her comfort and trust. Ask questions. Pay attention. Be curious about her experience. This is what transforms good intimacy into extraordinary intimacy. When you do those 3 things, you'll never again ask, "Am I enough?" because you'll know you are. I know this topic can feel heavy. Maybe you've spent years carrying this insecurity. Maybe you've avoided intimacy because you were afraid of being judged. Maybe past partners made careless comments that still echo in your mind. But I want you to hear this from me directly. You are not broken. You are not less. You are enough. Age doesn't take that away from you. In fact, men over 50 often have an incredible advantage: patience, wisdom, and the ability to slow down. And I can tell you from both professional experience and personal understanding of what women value. That's what women crave more than measurements. They want presence. They want attention. They want someone who takes their time. Young men often rush, they perform, they worry. But a man who has lived, who has learned, who has developed emotional intelligence, he understands that intimacy is a conversation, not a competition. So the next time you catch yourself wondering about inches, remember this. Science shows most women prefer exactly what you already are. It's not about chasing extremes. It's about showing up fully. It's about being present in the moment. It's about understanding that connection, trust, and emotional safety create far more pleasure than any physical dimension ever could. And if you found this reassuring, hit that like button, subscribe to Dr. Victoria Adams' Women's and Men's Health, and share this video with a friend who might need to hear it. Because here's the truth. Intimacy isn't about numbers. It's about presence, connection, and confidence. And those are things every man at every age can build. I want to leave you with one final thought. The conversations we don't have are often the ones that matter most. Men suffer in silence about these concerns. They carry shame that was never theirs to carry. They compare themselves to fantasies that were designed to make them feel inadequate. But knowledge is freedom. Understanding is power. And when you know the truth, when you understand that science supports what I've shared with you today, you can finally release that burden. You can walk into intimacy with confidence. You can connect with your partner without that voice in your head telling you that you're not enough. You can experience pleasure, give pleasure, and build the kind of intimate life that nourishes both body and soul. That's what I want for every person who watches this video. Not just information, but transformation. Not just facts, but freedom. I'm Dr. Victoria Adams. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And remember, small changes, the right knowledge, and the right mindset can bring you comfort, freedom, and confidence, no matter your age. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.